Hello there.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing swell. I just want to make sure, am I coming in clear for you right now? Because is it coming, the audio, everything is clear for you? I don't know. It's
It is
good?
clear. Yes,
O-
it's good over here
Okay.
too.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure because you're wearing that outfit I like. You're wearing that fit I like.
Oh, really? You like this?
Yeah, that's the one you was wearing on episode 1 of Mindful Parenting.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Epi-
You have good
episode
memory.
1. Episode 1, that was season 1.
Yeah. I need to get back to you. You got good memory. But can you see me well and hear me clear?
I can. I can.
Good. Yeah, so you had a little walk.
We got to get the walk in before the talk in, Nabiha. Come on.
Yeah. You got me actually in a cold shower today. Inspired by you.
No, wait. We inspired each other.
Yeah, yesterday. I did do yesterday too, and then this morning after Qigong, I was like, let's hop in the cold shower. So that's why I'm like in a calm state, and I was just doing breath work. So
Yeah, you hop on in, What one hand washes the other, we inspire each other, because I was telling people today, you heard it on Qigong. It was, whew, you feel that electricity,
always, always, it's every day, it's every day. So I love that. Thank you, by the way.
When did you start taking cold showers, Nabiha?
I'm a hot shower person. I always like hot showers, but I think it's because, always when I felt like down or whatever, I used to just go into the shower, or when I feel like restless. So I'll go in a hot shower. And then I realized hot showers put me to sleep, and it makes me more depressed. It makes me more like down every time I have like hot showers. So it was like step by step getting into the cold shower. But when I start practicing less sleep, that's when I got more into the cold showers, because that helped me. It energized me, basically.
And was there a particular person that inspired you to start, or you just kind of had the inspiration with that sensation?
I've heard about the cold shower for years. So I wasn't into it. I came from cold places, so cold wasn't like the first thing I went to. So if I think about if anybody inspired me to start doing it now, I think it was more like when no. It's just like when I just needed to wake up, during my, 24 hours or 48 hours of staying up. I just get into the cold shower, and then I felt like this is right, So that's how I started.
So just the feeling that this is right.
Mm-hmm.
You just had that feeling.
Yeah, I heard everybody doing the cold shower, but I wasn't drawn to it.
Because, we have Ken Boulevard here that said, I like cold baths over showers. The showers are harder to me. I feel like the opposite. I haven't taken a cold bath, but I've taken many cold showers.
Yeah, I have had cold baths, and I prefer the cold showers. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I've even done cryo. Have you ever done this thing called cryo?
No, what do you do?
Yeah, cryotherapy.
Tell me about it.
Cryotherapy. You walk up in this building, and they put you in this little tube, and it just starts, like, the degrees just starts going
Ooh.
like all the way down, and it is basically you in there. You're an ice cube in there. You're frozen in your jaws. Yeah,
How was that?
and I was just like, but it's exhilarating. It's kind of like it's like a shot of adrenaline, but in a different way. It's like a shot of cold, like you're infusing the cold, almost like Mr. Freeze from Batman. You're in a container, and you're just frozen in there.
I know. Oh my God, that must be interesting feeling. Now I want to try it.
Yeah, people have, used it to relieve pain, to relieve stress, to relieve tension, and to relieve a lot of different ailments in the body. They've used cold therapy. cold
Did
therapy.
you
Yeah.
feel energized?
I felt good. I
Mm.
felt good. It was definitely it was like a challenge because the guy at the time that brought me in there, we were in network marketing together, and he thought I was gonna wuss out. He was like, "No, you gonna don't punk out." You know those double dares. You know, people like to double dare you.
Uh-huh.
I was like, "I double dog dare you." I was like, "Okay, I got to do it now." You know, so I
So
would have did it.
what was your first intention?
Yeah, it was just really just us going out to this place. He said he had done it before and he was doing it for his back or for his somewhere on his body was hurting and he was using it for the pain.
Hmm.
So, but I was just using it just, you know, just to try it, you know, just to see
Yeah.
something new, a new experience, you know?
Ooh, I want to
Yeah.
try that now. I've jumped in the snow many times, just lay in the snow. That's the coldest, but I prefer cold showers. I really like it. I think this is my new shower routines. I can't go back to hot showers because it feels like it's burning. Yeah, it's impossible. It's like once you go cold, you can go back. You know.
You said what once you go cold, you sold, you
Exactly.
know?
Yeah, you see, you're right.
Once you go cold, you don't need to be told.
Absolutely. Yes. So yeah, I see that you've been journaling lately.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
yeah, is that
You
new
see that, huh?
or is it a habit?
You see that, huh?
I see that. Yeah.
You see that? Yeah, you know, I've been actually I've been enjoying reading back on my old journals,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the things that I've written before. Like, what kind of feeling do you get that's revealing for you when you read back on your old journal entries? You know, to see what Nabiha was thinking back years ago.
Yeah. I love that part. That's the only reason why most of the times I journal or I journal all the time. All the time. I can't see like a blank page anywhere. I just pick it up and I write something. I've always been like that since I was a kid. But the fun part is always going back. I always go back to some of them. Just pick one, like one random one right here, for example. If I pick, I know I have something in here that says something, you know? Yeah. I'm not gonna read it, but you see, that's how I do it. I'm
You
not
just
gonna.
you're just gonna tease us like that? You just go? Is that how we doing it, Nabiha? We doing it like that today?
Yeah, I'm not gonna read it out loud.
You gonna bring it all the way out, right? You gonna say, "Oh, you know, there's this one that I was thinking about, you know, but I'm not gonna read it. But you know, I'm not gonna read it."
Yeah, really. I have one in front of me right here. I have one there. But the fun part is like going back and see like how you were thinking and different moments. The moments being captured in words. So how have you been feeling reading back?
Yeah, like Diana right here. Shout out to Fruit Liquid Light. She says, "I feel compassion for old me.
Mm,
For old me, I feel compassion for old me." How does that resonate with you?
you know, I don't know. I always say like it's old mindsets. It's like I see it like a steps, different levels, different mindset. Come on, don't do that. But it's different levels. It's like I go back in and I say like, oh my God, my mindset was right there, you know? And then I just appreciate it. I just know like, okay, I'm moving forward at least. Like, and it's fine. Wherever I was, it was fine anyway.
So, what would you say that you appreciate most? You know, when you witness yourself in that light.
Hmm. It's like, we're writing our own story. So my journals just remind me of that I'm writing my own story. It's like, the mindset I was in that day, the mindset that I am in today, like all of it. Like if I recorded, it just become obvious that I'm writing my own story. That's how I feel like. So all these little words and I'm leaving, it's like just part of my story.
And you said it becomes obvious.
Hmm. It's like, we believe that, okay, we write our story, but we just say it. But when I go back in my journals and I see what I have written, some things that I have written is like, I don't write in a present tense like right now. I always say like what I have, what I've achieved, what I've done, that's how I write. And it's like I get to that point and I'm like, oh my God, I've written this like 2 years ago. I'm here today. Those kind of stuff.
So you were writing things like I've done
Hmm.
things that you hadn't done yet.
Hmm. Yeah, I've always been doing that because writing the present moment, it's always kind of like boring somehow in the present tense. Like if I write it like, okay, I'm doing this today, blah blah, I see it, I'm experiencing, but what is it that I'm desiring? What is it that I want? What is it that I know? So I write those things down, and it just like I wrote like I have a master's degree in this, and then 3 years later I went back and I'm like, oh yes, I did write that down. Yeah.
So so what do you call that?
It's kind of like writing your. It really is. It's just writing your own story. It's like kind of, it reminds me that I have written it down, and then I will remember it sometimes like, oh yeah, I need to achieve this because I've written it down, when it comes to my attention.
And is that not magic? Like, is that not manifestation? Is that not what we're always talking about, people, you know?
Yeah, I know. It is. I think I manifested everything in my life. The good, the bad, everything. Everything. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like it becomes obvious to you when you go back in your journal and you feel like, oh my God, I've written this down, I've written that down. So manifestation is just like writing your own story. That's how we write our own story.
And when you realize that you manifested all of this, you know, that you manifested everything, but you're even surprised when you look back in your journal and you say, oh wow, I wrote that down. You know, I forgot about that. I manifested.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you manifested that with intention, or that you manifested it by accident?
I did most of it with intention because I realized without the intention, it doesn't work. So it has to be like, it has to come from the core. Like when I'm writing it, I already know kind of, and I just write it, I leave it alone. But it's not like the knowing up here, it's just the knowing. And sometimes I don't even know, but I write it down, I leave it alone, and then I go back and look at it. Did I write that? So it's just the knowing.
They do say, Nabiha, that that is a crucial component, that you leave it alone, you know? You
Mm-hmm.
said you write it down, you leave it alone. It's like you said it and forget it.
Mm-hmm. It's like, what can I say? You know how people can go around and talk about like what they dream about, what they want in life, what they need, blah, 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 I feel like I don't like to carry stuff. It doesn't matter if it's like physical, if it's like in my mind. So instead of like walking around thinking about I want something, I need to achieve this, I need to do that, I put it down on the paper and I just leave it alone instead of carrying it around. So it's like, I don't know. It's like how you would digest stuff, just leave it alone, just get it out, if that makes sense.
That does make sense, you know, perfect sense. You're like emptying,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're clearing the cache, you're just getting it off of you, but you're also designing your desires. You're achieving your desires by design.
Exactly. Just write it down and then empty. Like, I really like to be empty. Like, it's funny to say, but I really like to be empty. That's what I don't like doing. I don't like to, I just want to be, So in order for me to receive things too, I have to be empty. So, yeah.
You know, that was one of the wisest passages that I found in the Tao Te Ching
Mm-hmm.
by Lao Tzu. And I remember when I was reading this book, and I remember there was one of these lines that was like, it was very esoteric. You know, a person might look at it and be like, what is he talking about? But it was like, I am like an idiot. My mind is so empty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like an idiot. My mind is so empty.
I like that.
And I was like, what? You know, but now that you're speaking that, it just makes perfect sense. You're like, I like to be empty. I want to be empty.
Yeah. here and here, both. It's like it's being lighter, you know. It's just why fill myself with all these ideas and all these wishes and all this. I know I can get it, you know. But do I want to carry around the load? No. Just put it down.
So to lay your burdens down, you know, to put down the baggage, not carrying around even emotional baggage or mental baggage. What did Erica Badu say about bag lady? You
Oh,
know, you gonna hurt your back, right?
exactly. She said the only thing you need to hold on to is you. That's what she's saying in that song. Yeah. Nothing else. Hold on to yourself, you know.
Wow, wow, she spoke the truth.
Yeah, she does most of the time, actually. You know.
You're like most of the time. Now that I think about it, most of the time.
Yes. You know, I listen to lyrics, you know, so if the lyric is not like catchy, sometimes I just leave it alone. I listen to just instrumental, but if I listen to the lyric, that means like it's something in it that's deep.
And you know, shout out to these lyrics that Erica is dropping on us right now. Shout out to Erica Elizabeth Gray. She said, "Our words are super powerful. A thoughtless mind is bliss. We can then experience."
Yeah,
I love it.
exactly. If you have a book, like let's say like if you have a journal and your journal is like full and you want to go on a journey, what are you going to fill in there? Like you have no place to write on it, right? So you have to have an empty journal. And every day is a journey. Every day when you wake up, you know, you have to be like empty journal. That's how it feels like. So,
Wow. So every new day is a blank page.
every day, that's the fun part. Every day is a new page.
Hmm. And we choose what we write down.
Hmm.
You know, we choose what gets put on that blank page every day.
Exactly. Exactly. But if you have yesterday's thoughts in there and the day before thoughts in there and there, you know, you just, you know, collecting a lot of stuff. And now you don't have anything new to come in. That's why it's important to let go as much as it's receiving, you know. But people want to receive, they don't want to let go. And they don't even go hand in hand. Like, it's like, how are you going to receive if you can't let go? It doesn't work like that, right? So, yeah, be.
And it's interesting, even as you speak, Nabiha, you know, when you're talking about collecting yesterday's thoughts, collecting yesterday's ideas, collecting yesterday's, all these things yesterday, you know. And I love that you always tell us, you remind us that there's only today,
Mm-hmm.
that there's only right now. And when you're reading your journal, you're reading almost like a collection of those thoughts and those feelings and emotions and things that you were writing from that time period. But if time is an illusion, how do you feel when you're reading the energy, seeing the energy that you put on that page at another point? You know, how do you feel when you're seeing you that wrote that down at a whole nother time, you know?
But that's the thing. It's not that it was a whole nother time. You know, the day is the same, the time is the same. The only thing that's changing is the content from within. It's like inside me that's changing every day. Like today I'm feeling some type of way, you know, the feelings, whatever I'm feeling is coming from within me. So I write it down. So it's not that it's a new day and this new day made me feel this way. The day is the same. It's just like a new thing is coming out because of this thing is full of emotions or whatever, like blah, 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 blah. So it's the content from within me that puts it down on the same day. It's the same day. I'm not explaining. It's the same day. It's the same moments, but we feel different. Our emotions just change, like just like the water changes, you know, changes. The moment is the same.
Can you explain that a little bit and just help me understand? Because when I hear you, sometimes I get the vision of Groundhog Day. You ever seen Groundhog Day?
No.
So Groundhog Day, you know, there's been movies on Groundhog Day and stuff like that. But I remember somebody was waking up and, oh, you You clocking in?
Worry.
You getting work done, Miss Busy Bee,
Listen,
Miss Busy.
I was actually turning off notifications. So yeah, I'm listening.
So there was someone that woke up and every day was the same. Like every single day, the same things happened. He walked by the same mailbox. He seen the same lady walking her dog. He popped the same toaster. He had the same lunch. He had the same breakfast. He had the same, the same music was playing on the radio. The same baseball game was going on in the outfield. The same, everything was the same every single day. And it was like Groundhog Day, you know? So when you say like every day is the same, you don't mean like that.
So he was doing the same thing every day, right? Like when like your house looks the same every day, right? Like on the outside. When you wake up, the trees and everything is still the same every day, aren't they? It's not like every tree just moves on a different places and it's different. It looks the same. But what changes is what we do in like within us, right? So for example, if he was doing the same thing, he was going to, like, have you experienced moments where you do the same thing, like you wake up the same hour, you go to work the same hour, you come back the same hour, you could feel that. It's like you don't have time to feel anything because you're doing the same thing and you have to feel the same way every day. I don't know if that explains it, but everything looks the same every day anyway.
So how does that pertain to your writings, and what is so gratifying and satisfying about reading something on the same day?
It's like, how can I explain it? I feel like life is more like it's the same scene, you're just doing different acts every day. But it's the same scene, but we do a different act because of like we think it's a different day. If we didn't think it was a different day, we would do the same thing. We would just continue and prolong the whole day. But we think every day is a different day. So that's why we're changing up stuff. But it's not a different day. It's the same.
Okay, so if it's all the same, and if
Mhm.
it and if it's all the same to you, what spices it up for you? What gives it that flavor? What
In it.
gets you up? Go ahead.
It's what we do. It's what we do. Like if I chose to do the same thing every day, it's a choice that I'm making, right? So my life will be as boring as that. Just doing the same thing. If I woke up every day, go and brush my teeth the same way, watch the same thing, sat and read the same thing, like it's a choice that I'm making, then my life is like, you know. But every day, but that wouldn't change. Or if I woke up and I changed up everything, I changed my patterns. That's what I do often. I change up stuff. I walk around and go to different places, blah 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 blah. So I'm spicing it up, but the day is the same. The day is the same. I don't know how to explain it. It's the same day. You get it?
Okay, so when you went to Florida and you visited the Prana fam,
Hmm.
that didn't feel like the same day though.
It was the same day. I just chose to actually go somewhere else where I think I went somewhere else and blah 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 blah. But it's the same.
So
It is.
nothing was different over there. There was nothing different.
Oh, no, you see, the thing that are happening in the day doesn't change the day. So it was different. But what I'm saying is, it's the same day. Just our mind makes it like yesterday and next month and next year and this year and that year. But it's not that nothing is changing. It's just the mind that goes travel and goes to places because we're bound to the time. We think time is real, right? If we didn't think time was real, what would happen? Would you go from this place to that place? Because to move from here to there, you need to have a sense of time, right? No, no, seriously. So if you didn't have time, you would just be in here. Okay.
You see that?
I'm trying to
So
read it.
Marcus says, I understand somewhat. The day is the same globally, just being consciously and intentionally with where we place our energy and we just stay present.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Diana says, I feel that when we have attention here now, there is no past experience, even if it's the same. But if I do it on auto mode, it looks the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Carla is saying, didn't we use the sun and the moon to travel from day to day?
Yeah.
She's asking.
The sun and the moon to be right there, then you are bound to time too, you know. It's like it's the first way you calculate it, of course. But that's when you have the perception of time, then you move stuff. Your mind moves things. That's why we have past, present, this, because of we believe in time. But if you don't believe in time, there's nothing moving, whether it is with the moon or with the compass or whatever. Nothing moves.
So it's your non-belief in time that makes you timeless.
Mm-hmm.
You're timeless
Yeah,
because time is not a factor.
exactly. That's how you get immortal too. Because then age is, if you believe in time, then age will be, affected you. Age will affect you if you believe in time. Because now you believe that a year has passed and now I get older, Another year has passed, I'm older. Or 30 is old, no, 30 is older than 40. Oh, no, I mean like 20. Like you would have the perception of numbers and age and whatever. But if you don't have the time, then there's nothing. You can get old. You can die. Because that dying means like an end. End is like perception of time.
So you're saying death is just the end of your perception of time?
Mm-hmm. Like, you remember Lagu?
Yeah.
He's not bound to time. That's why he lives forever.
Yeah, he was still alive though.
Yes, but that's because of, he can appear in your eyes. Because it's if you lose the sense of time, it doesn't mean that you disappear or anything. It just means like everybody else around you will age and this because they believe in that. You won't move. Nothing with you will move. You're still here. You can still be here like go. But then everybody else will die because they believe in the death. They will age because they believe in age. And then they will think like you live forever or something like that because they think that time that you live in is forever. But for you, it's just now.
Okay, so like the age of Adeline,
Mm-hmm.
for her it was just now.
Yes.
It was always just now. For
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, there was a future, there was a past. For her, there was just now. That's it. Now is all there is.
Exactly. I don't know if that was her point, but yeah.
And so she didn't age.
Yeah. It was just not.
She, okay, okay. Because it's interesting, in this day and age, in
Mm-hmm.
this day and age, you hear people talk about how 30 is the new 20, 40 is the new 30, right? 50 is the new 40,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I remember there was a time where my mom went to visit some family in Florida. I'm part Jamaican, so she has Jamaican family. And my aunt Cynthia and my uncle George, they're in their 90s.
Hmm.
Now they're in their 90s. Now they have caretakers at the house. They need stuff to be done. They have ailments. They have problems with their body, problems with their health, and they can't drive. There's a lot of stuff that they're unable to do. Contrast when she went to Virginia, right after seeing them, she went to Virginia and she visited an old friend of hers, which is a nurse lady in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
This lady is 97, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's sharp as a tack. Her mental is sharp. Her memory is sharp. She drives herself. She goes to the post office 3 times a week. She goes to the grocery store. She lives in a 3-bedroom house. She's doing things. She's making her own meal. You know, she's doing all this stuff by herself, and she lives alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what was the difference? You know, she just, you know, it blew her mind to see the difference between people that were right there, you know.
Mine's probably they didn't have the same diet, because you know whatever you feed this body is what keeps it, right? And how you maintain it, it's like how you can prolong it in a sense. But also the mind plays a big role. Like if you really believe like, oh, I'm 90, I'm old, I can't move, do you want to move? That's just the way it is, you know. But if you never have the perception of your own age, like you don't know, you don't think about like, oh, this is how old I am, and I'm not capable of doing this because I'm this age, I'm that age, and you just move and flow, I don't think you can, you know, you can be limited by your body like that. It's just the mindset. You know, some people get really, they can't even move at they're 30, you know, because they believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking sometimes when you see that people have passed away at like 60 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you'll hear people say, well, you know, he was at that age, you know.
Yeah. It's like,
Like,
see,
well, he was at that age, you
yeah.
know. And I'm like, what do you mean he was at that age? You know? What? You know?
60. People retired, I feel like that's when you start life, kind of. Yeah. No, that's like, yeah. No, I don't believe that. I believe it's just the mind. Whatever you were told, if you were told like 100 is old, then you will believe 100 is old. But if you were taught like, okay, at 50, that's where you start, you know, you will stay forever young, kind of. So it's the mind.
Wow. It's all in the mind. You know, bringing it back to the mind every time, I enjoy the way that you do that for us because it's a great reminder. And you remind me as well, Nabi, how when you sent me those pictures, there was some time where you were looking at people, I think it was in Africa, where you were looking at pictures. Do you remember these pictures you sent me of like what you were calling elders?
Oh yeah.
These elders, these wise elders, and you saw their faces, you saw the lines, but then you also saw their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you saw something in their eyes. Like, what did you see in their eyes that was so wise like that?
You know, you can see someone's experience in life through their eyes. You know, it's like the eyes were recording everything, you know, while everything else is maybe aging or whatever, but the eyes were just recording. So you can look into someone's eyes and then you can actually see, you know, their whole life. So I just saw like a whole movie when I'm looking into their eyes, and it's like, yeah, they're wise. They learn through experiences. You know, some of us learn through books. Some of us learn through, you know, like light experiences, and some of us like harder experiences. But it's just like, you know, we have different trails. So I could just see their trails through their eyes.
Wow. So you saw that they were wise just by looking in their eyes?
Hmm. You can see it by eyes. Yeah. Especially like when they're elder, you can see it. You know, you can see like, that's why I always think like it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't mean that you have captured stuff in your life, you know. Like you can be 70 and not wise at all because you haven't captured the right moments and gather it in your you know, consciousness for you to be wise. Maybe you just capture, you know, shallow moments here and there for 70 years. So you can see that too. You still see that like lost, you know, childish, lost look inside that person. So age doesn't even matter. But then you can see someone and you can look at them in their eyes and you know that they have, you know, learned a lot of lessons, you know. they sit back a little more too. There's nothing, you know, it's just, it's different. Yeah, it's different.
They sit back a little bit more.
Yeah, because, you know,
They sit.
yeah, when you experience a lot, you will come to a point where, you know, words or, you know, you don't waste your words. You say something just when it's important. Yeah.
They,
You
they
can
do
see,
say. Go ahead.
oh, I say, I could see that. I wasn't saying anything.
No, you were saying everything. You know, you were saying everything, Naviha. That's why I feel like many people see you as wise and witness that wisdom coming through you, because they do say that, you know, a wise person speaks when they have something to say, but a fool speaks because they have to say something, you
Yeah.
know? So last time I remember you were telling us about the difference between knowledge, experience, and wisdom. And you were saying that wisdom is something that comes from within you, or like
Mhm.
wisdom is within. So when you talk about capturing moments, that somebody doesn't have the wisdom yet because they haven't captured enough moments, what do you mean by that?
It's like, you know, some people can use their time. I don't know. It's like when I analyze stuff, I analyze in a deeper level. You know, well, someone can, I don't know how to explain it, because we can see the same moments and someone can just, you know, pass it, not even capture it, and I can capture it, right? So it's not like they didn't have the opportunity to capture those moments. They were there, but they just like didn't analyze it. So they saw something else, or maybe they were sold by the, you know, the reality of today, that everything was okay, you know, and they never just analyzed anything further. It's like they were just happy with whatever that's going on, that they were happening with it. I don't know how to explain it, you know.
It's like Favi says, it was just happening. It was just
Yeah,
happening, right?
and with it, you know, like they don't stop in a moment and use your own speculations. You know, if you do, and then you dig deeper and you find something, you know, so it's in those findings that you get wiser, you know, because now you know how to experiment things on your own. You know how to find out what's right and what's wrong for yourself, you know. So some people don't even bother to do that, you know. Everything is laid out for them. So
Okay, so it's in your findings. It's in like almost like through that analysis. Like you're saying, not just in the moments that you capture, but in the moments that you capture and analyze.
mm-hmm.
Because you do a lot of speculation, you know? Like you say all the time, you're like, I was speculating, you know, I speculate. And you remind me of like Bill Nye, the science guy. I don't know if you've ever seen Bill Nye, but there was a guy named Bill Nye, the science guy. And he would have these little interludes in between teaching people, like a scientist in your own laboratory. And he would say, consider the following. He would always say this. It was like a little breakup. It was like, consider the following. And he would just, you know, bring a question or bring something that would expand your consciousness, that would expand your mind in a totally new way.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also a speculation, you know?
Speculation
So,
in your mind.
y-
I say speculations do expand your mind, right? That's why we speculate. Why speculate if you don't want to expand your mind? Makes no sense, right? So,
so is that the difference? Does that make the difference when it comes to wisdom and no wisdom? It's like speculation or no speculation, you know, computation, contemplation, or no contemplation.
I think so. You know, if you don't speculate things, I don't think you're wise. You know, it's I don't want to say it in that way, but if you don't speculate things, you know, I don't think you're wise, because it's like somebody give you something to eat, right? And If you don't say, what is this? And you just put it in your mouth. It's like, how wise are you? You know, it could be anything. Just because of, you know, it worked a couple of times, maybe it was a family member or whoever, whatever it was, like, you always have to check. You have to look, you know, you have to read, you have to do something. If you don't do that, I don't know how wise you are, you know. It's so simple as that. So with everything, like an idea being given to you, you can't just take the idea. You have to speculate it. You know, does it match you? Does it click with you? You know, if it doesn't, leave it alone. If it is, you go on with it, right? So that's what I see as speculation. You know, anything, everything, I speculate. Whatever it is, you know, I don't just think like, oh, that's an expert that did that, so it's like, oh, fine. I don't care what expert it is. It has to click with me, you know. It's like someone giving you a whole, you know, document telling you like to sign. Wouldn't you read through it first? It's the same thing. Life gives you documents every day that you have to sign. So you have to just, you know, speculate it for your own good. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Read the fine print.
Mm-hmm. You have to. But if you just too late, that's what I mean. Like, you know, when the person can be 70-year old and, you know, not gain any wisdom in a sense, it's like they were just signing papers, whatever, without reading it. They were just signing and signing. And you can go through life like that. That's fine. You can be signing all documents without just looking at it. That's what you're designed for anyway.
And it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, Nabiha, that the less we're designing and just the more that we're signing
Mm-hmm.
is like the less we're aligning.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You got a rhyme for it. Yes. Makes sense, right? It makes all the sense. Like, why would you just sign stuff? For what? You know? You can't just sign things. Like, even if they told you you're gonna die, or everybody knows, like, that's the one thing that's guaranteed is like, you know, this body will leave somehow, right? If we all know that, why would you just sign things then? Why wouldn't you just speculate everything? Have fun with it, you know? Find more out. Really, that's all it is, you know? But if we're gonna just, you know, just whoop ourselves with all our ideas and, oh my God, I can't do this and that, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just like a lot of things going on. The humans just make all this suffering for themselves. It's like, just stop. Stop. Really. We create all our sufferings. It's just within ourselves. Nobody comes to you and then you just sign whatever. This reality is like this. Oh yes, you just believe it. Yeah. But explore. You got nothing to lose. Explore. Hey,
Oh,
Ramsu.
so, hey there. So, okay, a child is told that, hey, the stove is hot. Okay? Don't put your hand on the stove. You'll burn your hand. The stove is hot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could say that, looking from that angle, now the child has knowledge. It's not their, it's outside knowledge. It's coming from someone else. And it's coming from that person's experience, knowing how hot the stove is, telling the child not to touch it while it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
But before the child touches it and has that experience, can you say that they don't have wisdom? Or is it that once they touch it, they feel it, now they have wisdom?
I think, you know, someone telling the child, don't touch that, it's hot. There's nothing wrong with it, you know, but either way, the child would learn, whether you tell them or they will touch it, you know, they will learn anyway, right? But I think when someone tells you like, hey, don't touch, it's hot, and you always stay away from it, always stay away from it, always stay away from it because of someone told you, it's not as powerful as, you know, if you just touched it and your consciousness is like, you know, boom, it's registered. You won't go back to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's there, it's done. So whether someone tells you or not, you will figure out either way. either way, but one is more powerful than the other for sure.
Wow, great explanation, great breakdown, Naviha. So when it comes to Mickey, Hannah, and Tarek,
Hmm.
Tarek, okay, Mickey, Hannah, and Tarek, what was something that you felt you could not teach them that they had to learn on their own?
Pretty much pretty much everything. You know, I can say things, I can tell them things so they can, that maybe help them prevent, you know, from experiencing or something like that. But I know I'm just saying something, but I know the best experience for them is actually to experience it and then know on their own, you know. So yeah, everything, really, everything in life. Like I can, you know, I've been 17-year-old, I've been 16, I've been 11, you know, there are things that I knew, I thought it was like right, you know, and there wasn't. And they think it's right. And I know it isn't, you know. So should I just let them experience it until they figure out like, oh my God, was I doing that dumb thing, you know? Or should I rush them and say like, hey, I did that and I figured out it was a dumb thing, you know, and you should just skip that part and just do, no, I can't do that. So they have to get to that point where they think like, if they look back and think like, oh my God, that was a dumb thing I did, you know? So I can tell them my story, but they have to experience it in order for it to have effects on it, kind of.
So in order for it to having a lasting effect, in order for it to really connect, you know.
Hmm. Do you,
Wow.
look, do you have moments where you say like, oh my God, I should have listened to my parents? Do you have that moments like, oh my God, I should have done, they told me to do differently, why didn't I listen? And they did tell you that, but you didn't listen. You had to experience it in order for you to go back to that moment and think like, oh my God, my parents told me that. So it's a moment that someone told you, but was it right at that moment? Did it click for you what they meant? No, you had to experience it and then go back in the moment because it's the faces, you know. Yeah.
And then once you've experienced it and gone back in the moment, that's when you analyze and speculate.
That's when you learn to listen, you know. Otherwise, it will always just be like the right thing for you, you know. But when you go back and analyze that moment and you're like, aha moment, like, oh my God, it was right. That's when you have analyzed and understood and learned the lesson. Yeah.
Because what would you say is one of your biggest aha moments when it came to something that you're thankful no one taught you, that you're thankful no one caught you and said, hey, this is something that you need to know about this, that you had that epiphany and that realization for yourself and it shaped who you are today?
If it was something, if I understood your question, it was like something that someone told me that I,
Like an aha moment where you're like, you know, like, oh, I get it. But you had to bump your head so many times to finally realize it on your own.
hmm, I think it was religion. Religion, because I never had anybody teach me religion and tell me like, okay, God does this, and you know, this is the prophet, this is this, this is that, or you know, that fear of religion basically. But I heard from outside, I saw people believe in things, and you know, I wanted to gather information to also have something to believe in basically. But then I had that aha moment, oh my God, this is maybe the reason why I was never taught, because it wouldn't make sense to me, you know. So I feel like I was saved from the fear of religion that a lot of people are bound to today. You know, it's a lot of people that still, you know, they can evolve as much as they want, but they still have that little fear that religion have cost them. You know.
Wow. I've never heard anyone say that before. So you know, a lot of people say that they're saved by religion.
Yeah, I was saved.
So you were saved from religion.
Yeah, I was saved from it. That's how I feel like. I'm always like grateful for that actually. I'm always grateful for that. It's like I was never imposed with that, you know, whatever. It's so powerful, you know, people really believe in it. And it's like when you believe in something, it becomes real. And just the belief and how much they believe in it scares me sometimes because I know that beliefs can create a lot of things. So just having that fear on me, and if I would walk around with that fear, I don't know what I would do. Now I feel like I'm fearless. Like I don't fear no God like that. I don't fear anything outside of myself. I fear my own mind. What it can do, you know, you can switch. Your own mind is your most powerful.
You say you fear your own mind, like it can switch, like it can snap.
No, not snap, but you know, when you think about that, everything is projection from your mind. Everything we see, this whole reality, everything is a projection from my mind. You know, I need to believe the most powerful thing in me is my mind, you know, and it can create different realities. So I always have to be in balance with what I'm creating. So you won't just create whatever, right? So you become what your mind creates for you.
Absolutely. And when you were saying, Nabiha, that sometimes people believe so strongly in something that it almost scares you, you know, why does that scare you?
Um, I I always used to think that just because of it says in the book you can kill, someone can kill without adding their own thoughts and their own emotions to it, you know, their own discernment. It's like there are some religions that say you can kill to protect yourself, and if somebody don't believe in your religion, you can kill. Basically, there are some religion that says that, and for someone to, when I say it's very, very strong, it's because of like, for someone to just read something out of a book and just do it without thinking, that's dangerous. That's dangerous to me. You know, you don't have a mind on your own. You can't discern anything with your own heart, you know. So it's like it's yeah, they people will do anything for religion. Anything. So that scares me. Because I know beliefs are what creates this whole thing, you know. What you believe is very powerful. Hmm.
Wow. So, and thank you for sharing that, you know, because, you know, it sounds like a strong emotion in it. What I'm hearing as well is that the discernment is in the heart.
Hmm. Yeah. You can give me any book that tells me like go and kill, go and do that. I would never, never. But if you have fear of something outside of yourself, and you can't even put, you know, you don't even know what it is. You were just told. You just go ahead and do it because it's out of fear. People do things out of fear. They say it's like based on love and blah 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 blah. No. Why do you think hell exists? If it was love, what would hell be have a place in it? It's to scare you, you know. Yeah. So it's based on fear, and I don't like fear. I like to be free, you know. I like to be free of thoughts, of anything, everything. I like to be empty. Yeah.
Yeah, there's you know, once again going back to that passage that inspired me by what you said. It said that if you want to be full, be empty,
Hmm.
you know. And if you want to be given everything, give everything up, you know.
It makes
It's very yeah.
it makes sense. So
Yeah.
accumulate everything. You keep holding on to everything, and it's like there's nothing that needs to be holding on to anyway. Just leave it alone. Like, I mean, everything, like even all the books and everything that we're reading, any idea coming from those books, anything. Like, we have no business in holding things. It's like we're supposed to just flow through every moment. Every moment comes empty, you know? Every moment comes empty. It's just like when you breathe, you know, like you don't hold on to one breath. It's coming, a new one's coming all the time. What if you were holding on to a breath? Like, let me keep holding on to this breath because I like this moment. It's like you suffocate. Yeah, you can't do that. Exactly.
Thank you for, you know, thank you. Just thank you for all of these timely messages. They're always wonderful reminders for every one of us, because one of the things I love about you, Nabiha, you come from such an authentic place, and you're not afraid to speak your mind, and you're not afraid to express what's on your heart, you know? Like they say it with your chest, right? You get it off your chest, and we are all blessed, you know, because that's the best way you express.
If you're empty all the time, you know, you just say whatever that's in the moment, right? And I don't dig into like different content. Like, let me bring yesterday up and let's talk about it today, you know? So staying in the moment. I don't do anything, you know? Maybe you say like, thank you for this, saying this. Like, I don't even know what I said, to be honest. But it's just common sense. Common sense.
Yeah. You know, lastly, when you say that it's common sense, and some people say that common sense isn't so common, you know, there was a there was a monk that asked the head monk, the chief monk. I think they were in the Zen Buddhism philosophy, and he asked him, you know, about Zen, and then how to really accomplish that Zen-like state.
Mm.
And he said, the monk told him, he said, when we eat. You know, when we sleep. When we talk. When we walk. You know, when we work, we just work.
Mm-hmm.
And the young monk was like, wait, but doesn't everybody do that? You know? And the chief monk was like, no, it takes practice. It takes practice, you know, to just be in the moment with whatever you are in the moment.
Yeah.
It,
I
it's
realized I realized that during meditations. I didn't know, you know, in the beginning I used to have a Zoom. Before I met you guys, I used to have this Zoom meditation groups. So I would just put on an hour, sit. And people can't sit an hour. I didn't know that. I'm just sitting there like, and everybody maybe have moved around, they did something, and I wake up to the Zoom, I'm like, what's going on? But then I realized some people cannot sit. And I was pushing an hour. So then I went down to 40, 30, 20. And some people are talking about 5 minutes. I was like, you can't sit still for 5 minutes. Yeah, common sense is not just common sense for everybody. I learned that. Yeah. Anyway,
Thank you.
thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, thank you for sharing your life and everyone else on here. Thank you for whole hour. I was just blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Now I'm going to empty myself. Make sure you do the same. All right. Much love to you.